Okay, we'll get started. We'd like to welcome everyone to the Black Desert Championship, and we have two Utah natives here with us today, Zac Blair and Patrick Fishburn. Zac, we'll begin with you. Just talk a little bit about how exciting this is for this area and for the PGA Tour to have this tournament begin this year.
Yeah, first time in a long time, right? Not exactly when the last time they were in Utah for a PGA Tour event, but it's cool. I think everybody's excited to be here, and just glad to be able to, travel a couple hours from my house.
Yep. Patrick, your thoughts on being here this week?
Yeah, it's exciting. Utah's kind of the state of sports, so just another, big event coming to Utah is awesome. Utah fans, people always kind of get behind the Jazz, and we've got a new hockey team, and BYU and Utah and all the colleges, and so this is just another big event that I think we'll get a lot of people coming out to, and it's exciting to have something in your home state. We never really thought, growing up, you dream of playing on the PGA Tour and things like that, but never really thought that we'd have a PGA event here in our home state, so it's going to be a cool opportunity.
Zac, you love golf architecture with the golf farm outside of Aiken. Talk a little bit about this golf course and what we can expect to see this week.
Yeah, first time around it yesterday, so looking to go get a couple more rounds in today and tomorrow afternoon. But it's obviously really pretty. The scenery out here is pretty insane. I think it'll look amazing on TV and everything like that. And pretty interested to kind of see what the scores are like and what it plays like in tournament conditions. But yeah, super excited.
A lot on the line for both of you guys. Patrick, we'll begin with you, number 85 in the FedEx Cup fall standings. Just talk a little bit about the state of your game coming into this week and your goals here as we're coming down the stretch of the season.
It's been a lot better than where I started. Started off really rough. I was not playing good. Unfortunately, there's no net flight out here on the PGA Tour. But yeah, it's better now. I've been playing a lot better. I made some changes with my equipment, with the driver, the putter, and just have kind of progressively gotten a little more comfortable. Rookie year, you're trying to get your footing. There's a lot of, you're trying to figure things out. The courses are a little bit different, a little more challenging, obviously, firmer, faster, less room for air and things like that. So it's just kind of been a process throughout the year. And lately it's, I've been playing pretty consistent, and I like playing in the state of Utah. Got a lot of experience playing at altitude, obviously, and the dry desert air, just kind of a lot of factors that I just feel comfortable with, and so, bent greens and things like that, so hopefully it turns out something good.
And Zac, you're 110 in the rankings. Just talk a little bit about your goals for this week and the rest of the season.
Yeah, I've been playing good, so kind of just keep doing the same thing. Hopefully go have another good event or two in the fall, and be nice to do it here at home.
All right, we'll open it up to questions. If you have a question, if you'll raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you.
Well, boys, tell me, knowing your game and this golf course, what's the most important club in your bag this week?
Where you want to start?
Honestly, I don't know yet. I think I need a couple more rounds the next day or two, and really feel it out. I don't hit it very far, so a lot of people have kind of talked about not being able to hit a lot of drivers. I kind of felt like I could hit a lot of drivers, but I'm the shortest player on the tour, so.
Just off the tee. I mean, there's so many options with every single hole, depending on how you feel and what the circumstances are, kind of where the pin is. A couple of the drivable holes, you kind of want to see where the pin is. That'll kind of determine what type of decision you make off the tee. But yeah, a lot of the time when I stand on a tee, I don't really try to have a plan, but I don't really kind of have a plan. I just kind of have the way I'm feeling. If I want to be aggressive, I'll go for it. But yeah, I think the key just with any type of a desert course, just put the ball in play, keep it out of the rocks, make sure you're not hitting provisionals. And so I think for me, getting the ball in play, making sure I have opportunities. And if you get the ball in play, you can attack. You can use the different slopes that they have out there to kind of funnel it to the different pins. And so it's just get the ball in the fairway, just like any other week.
Okay, right here.
For players, what's the energy surrounding a location with a very first-time PGA event?
This this is, I think last year in Mexico was the first time they had it at that, the new place that they're playing down there. That was kind of maybe one of the first times I've ever been somewhere where it was kind of a first time. So I think there's always kind of like a learning curve just from everything, from how the setup is and just everything that goes on kind of behind the scenes. So I think everyone's excited, but also kind of learning what to do and where to go and how to direct people the right way and everything. So it's gone well so far. So hopefully we continue and have a good week and everything goes according to plan, I guess.
Do you think Utah players have an advantage?
Yeah, you never know, but
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
of course. No, playing at altitude's definitely different for sure. And so, I grew up in Ogden playing the Ogden Country Club, which is probably 4,000 feet elevation, and we're probably 3,000 here. And so the ball just does different things. And then with the heat this week, there's just a lot of different factors that if you're maybe not used to that, it'll cause a few more calculations going on in the brain, which for me personally, less calculation is better. But so I don't know if that answers your question.
Will having an early tee time have an advantage since you mentioned the heat?
I guess you'll have to play one round in the morning, so I guess the ball will just go different. The ball will go a lot shorter the morning tee time, and then when you play the afternoon, it's obviously going to go a little bit farther. And so you'll just have to make some adjustments on the fly, and then hopefully Saturday, Sunday, you're the very last tee time.
Okay, yeah, right here.
Can you draw any parallels from other desert landscape courses you guys have played in terms of playing this course, or is this course so unique with the lava rock and the way you guys will have to, the way that'll come into play? What's your viewpoint on that? Patrick, we can start with you and then Zach.
Yeah, Zach's played a lot more golf than me, but are you talking other locations on the PGA Tour or just? Oh, period. Nothing's really. This is such a unique, very, very unique look, and I'm not sure I play another course with, black rock that's all around it, and then you got the desert in the background. But I can't think of anything. Zach may have a few.
I think just the way all the lava rock is, and it's not hazard, it's just kind of lost ball. It's not really like anything else. So it's kind of some places you might go and it might be hazard, or you might go to Arizona and hit it in the desert and you can still find it and ship it out. And here, you're not going to find it most of the time, especially in the rock. So I think it's very unique, very different. People are all kind of seeing it and learning it for the first time. But there is plenty of room to play out there. It's not like it's super tight all over the place, giving us plenty of space to hit the driver or hit anything off the tee. It's just got to keep it out of the rocks.
All right, Jeff.
Zach, we all know you're a golf design nerd. I'm not afraid to say that. What do you love about this course from a design perspective?
I think, like Patrick said, there's definitely some options, and on a lot of holes, you're able to kind of decide how much you want to bite off on certain holes or how much you want to push it up the fairway, and like we kind of mentioned with the lava rock, it's a pretty kind of do or die hazard throughout the whole golf course. So that aspect is, I think, pretty cool. And again, I've only played it yesterday for the first time, so it usually kind of takes a few rounds to really kind of understand all the little nuances and everything. But there's definitely a lot to kind of see out there. I think it'll take a few rounds to really start understanding the places where you do want to kind of take that risk. And you got holes and you got par fives like number 9 that the second shot is virtually like you have to hit the green, or maybe the bunker you could get lucky, but if you're going for that green in 2 and you miss it, it's like re-hit the shot from 250 yards. So it's going to be interesting to see how people kind of take on those certain situations in a tournament situation. Because if I'm out there playing, last week, just like with some friends, it's like, oh yeah, I'll go for this green in 2. But when it's like, oh, I could make a 12 if I, hit it in the rocks, you're like, oh, I'll probably just chip it out and, hit a wedge on the green.
All right, Haley?
And this one for Patrick now. On your rookie season, a lot of times with these courses, seeing them for the first time, how comforting is it to come here to this tournament and you've played this course before?
Yeah, that's a big deal, especially, early in the season we were playing Torrey Pines and, the American Express. There's multiple courses that you're trying to learn and see for the first time, and so it's a fun challenge, but it's definitely a challenge. You're playing against guys that have been around these things for 10, 15 plus years. You try to make up what you can in a few days, but yeah, it's this week coming. Haven't seen the course, played it a few times. Feel like it'll be a level playing field with that at least, and then playing in Utah, having the experience I do playing in Utah. It's just hopefully something that helps me. But yeah, that's looking forward to next year. Lock up the card and things like that. It'll be I feel like a lot easier. I haven't seen the courses.
And then for both of you being Utah residents and in the golf scene, when do you guys first kind of remember knowing each other, meeting?
I feel like probably when you came down from Park City.
Yeah, I moved to Ogden when I was in 6th grade or 7th grade. Patrick's brother was the basketball coach at Walkbush Junior High. So we probably met before then, golfing. But I don't know, you're 5 years younger than me, or 4 years? He's a little younger than me. Just 2. 2 years younger than me. Yeah, 2 years younger. Yeah. My math was off. That was the altitude. Yeah. Didn't do the right adjustment there. But yeah, so I mean, we played junior golf together. Maybe saw him down here in St. George playing the Dixie Red Hills.
Yeah. Zach's dad had a driving range that was Zach's house was right on the range, and mine was just a mile away. And so it used to be Mulligan's, now it's Toads, but we used to spend a lot of time there. I mean, his dad would let us do anything. It was there was an upper deck, place, mats you could hit down, and we would hit that onto the putting green while people were putting, and then I remember Zach would always get a bucket of balls and he used to have a par 3 course around there, and Zach would put a bucket of balls on hole 1, trying to make a hole in 1.
So I made my first one ever.
So I made the first one, and then
people don't count that one. I do. Full bucket.
But yeah, we ended up going junior high, high school, and then played year of golf together, and so he's been stuck with me, hanging around him for a little bit.
And for what family and friends can we expect to be following along this week? Start with you.
I got my wife and my 3 kids down here, and my dad actually lives down in St. George. He moved down here when I was, I think, like a freshman in college, so he kind of got away from the snow, and he's been down here ever since. So I don't know really who's going to be down. Hopefully we see a lot of familiar faces, and we're playing good.
Okay, right here.
I'm sure yesterday you saw where the grandstands are set up around which hole. How do you two both play differently or the same when it comes to the fans? How do they affect your game out there?
I enjoy it. I think it just brings such a fun energy. I feel like it I don't know, it just gives me a good nervousness. Not that I'm scared of taking a bad shot, but it's just creates a good, probably adrenaline, probably. And, when you have those feelings, I feel like it just kind of dials in your focus and your touch and your feel. And I feel like I've played some of my best golf when we've had people around. And hopefully, like Zach said, we have some family and friends coming down, and, it should be a fun atmosphere.
How do you feel about the fans?
Yeah, I think everyone always kind of dreams of playing in front of people, right? When you're a little kid, you're, hitting those putts to win the U.S. Open and stuff like that, and that's usually in front of a lot of people, in your imagination. So everything's more fun in front of people, I think.
And did you have that beard at BYU?
No, not allowed.
It looks good now.
Thanks.
Yep, right over here.
Talk to us about the green complexes. Zach, over the next 2 days, what will you be looking for around the greens, 100 yards in? And Patrick, you've been around a few times. What challenges do you see on this new golf course?
Yeah, so the greens are pretty big, I would say, for the most part. And, a lot of the holes kind of have pretty distinctive, quadrants of where it's pretty easy to see where they're going to put the pins, right? There's not a whole lot of greens where you're like, I wonder where it's going to go. It's kind of like you can have your front left, your front right, your back left, your back right. And so it's really just going to be about kind of learning those and where the places to miss potentially to certain spots. And then, sometimes that could make kind of like approaches and chipping and putting like a little challenging, but then certain times if the greens are kind of big enough, it almost makes it pretty easy. You kind of know exactly like where you got to get it to kind of help get balls into those little quadrants and just kind of like heightens your focus maybe a little bit. So again, first kind of look around it yesterday, that was kind of like the immediate impression was get it in the right quadrant on some of the greens, because there's certain ones that if you get it in the wrong spot, it can be pretty hard, almost impossible to get it close. Like yesterday in the Pro-Am on, I think it was 13, kind of long par 4. I think it's usually a par 5, but they're playing it as a par 4 this week. The pin was kind of in this super accessible spot, front left, in this lower little bowl. But everyone in our group didn't hit it in the bowl, or in that like lower section on the green, and it was basically the best you could do is hit it to like 11 feet on the next putt. So, got to stay away from stuff like that, and just finding out where to miss to spots like that.
I noticed with the scorecard there are 3 par 5s here on this course. Are any or all of them reachable into? And what would it take to help you to do that in terms of seeing eagles for the week?
Yeah, they're all reachable, but
For some people.
but they like Zach said, like hole number 9, you need to hit a really good drive there to even have a chance to want to take that on, because if, like you said, if you miss your spot, you're going to be re-hitting, and so, and then the others, it just kind of, for me, if I can just get the ball in the fairway, I should be able to have a go at, all of them, but it's just key. You just got to put the ball in the fairway and then, manage the risk. Is it worth going for number 9? Are you going to gain that much, or can you just rely on your wedge game? I think the other 2, there won't be any problem going for those, but yeah, there's just so many ways to play every single hole. I mean, whether a par 4, a par 3, using the funnel, the par 5, there's just a lot of different options that you need to be prepared to adjust your game plan, or just really, see what the wind's doing. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's fun that there are so many options every single hole.
I think seven's kind of like a blind tee shot that, there's plenty of room, but, you're still always a little uncomfortable hitting tee shots like that. And then the second shot almost kind of feels like you have to go for it. Kind of a awkwardish layup, that is pretty far back for what you would, really want. And then like he said, number 9 is just such a do or die shot. And then 18, I think, will be super exciting. That's honestly, I think, one of the cooler tee shots out here, and just one of my favorite holes. I think kind of hit off as much as you can for people that hit it far enough. I unfortunately can't cover the bunker, so I have to go out to the right. But I think you'll definitely see a high percentage of the people kind of going for a lot of a lot of the par fives into, and then it really just kind of depends on how firm it gets, because it's a little soft right now. Balls aren't really kind of chasing that far, and it'll be interesting to see kind of where that gets to over the next 3 or 4 days.
You mentioned blind shot at tee at 7. Does the hole have any sort of dog leg, or is it just
There's just kind of some rocks and stuff that are in your way. You know, there's a handful of, I think there's 3 or 4 shots at least out there that are kind of like that just, you know, you got to pick your target and kind of know where you're hitting to it and commit and hit good shots, and all those get a little harder kind of during game time, and, you know, if the wind picks up and everything like that. But overall, there's plenty of room to golf out there. It's just, can you actually execute it?
Patrick, which would you rather have, your length off the tee or his driving accuracy this week?
Accuracy always.
Now,
I'd want
Fish
Zach's.
hits it just as straight.
I'd want Zach's game always.
I want his game.
All right,
85 in the points, 110. He's doing all right.
All right, a couple more right here in the middle.
As Utah natives, how have you seen this area of the state change and evolve and grow into a place that could support an event of this size?
Yeah, I think St. George is like one of the biggest, growing places in the United States per capita. Like I said, my dad moved down here when I was a freshman in college, and even then it had kind of started to boom a little bit and has gotten a lot bigger, but it's pretty wild to see how much it's kind of changed over the last 10 or 15 years. I think, when me and Fish were coming down here to play the Dixie Red Hills Junior, shout out the Utah Junior Golf Association.
First junior event down here.
I mean, it was kind of just this, sleepy little town that was this hidden gem that a lot of people from Utah came and spent some winter time down here to escape the snow, and now you see people kind of living here, all year and coming in, kind of flooding the place. So it's definitely a lot different.
All right, let's take the last one. Back left, Brian.
So it's early in the week still, but back to the greens. How would you describe the firmness of them right now, receptive, and then also like ease of read? Like, is it easy to see the lines out there? Do you find it kind of subtle and difficult to pick up?
Actually, I haven't been on the golf course yet this week, but I'm planning to go play 18 this afternoon. But the first, the times that I've been around it, I think it's a little bit tricky trying to read the greens. You can have a couple putts that can, double breakers and things like that. But as far as firmness, it's probably pretty similar. I think they probably have them. Usually how the week goes on, they just get a little bit firmer, especially on the weekend. And so I think they have them right probably where they want them. And then they can kind of, the heat's obviously a little bit different this week than normal, 15 degrees warmer probably. And so I think they have to kind of be careful of that. But I think everything's probably in a good spot. Zach would probably know a little more.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a little soft. I don't know exactly how they want them, but like Fish said, it's really hot. I think they got to be, somewhat conscious of, not stressing them out too much, and you obviously don't want to get them, in a spot where they're kind of too far gone before the week even starts. So, the PGA Tour is obviously pretty good about, dialing them in and having them where they want them by Sunday afternoon. That's kind of the whole point and the whole goal. But I kind of talked about the quadrants of the greens. If you get in the right quadrant, I think you'll have a pretty good idea of like what the putts are going to do. And again, like the tour usually sets them up, in places that are on, I don't know the exact slopes, like percentage-wise, but, they're not anything like silly or unfair, things you would see on like a pro-am or, something like that. But if you get in the wrong quadrant and start having to putt over some of the big undulations in the greens, I think you'll have people kind of struggling with that because the speed, they were pretty fast even yesterday. I thought they were, pretty quick and, could kind of get away from you if you got, putts kind of downhill running away. So we'll see.
All right, let's take one more right here. Yep.
I think the final number is 9 players with Utah ties, strong Utah ties in the field. Talk to us a little bit about having Weirzy and Jadon, and then Kihei and Bowen. I mean, we got ages all across the board with you guys in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's Jadon's like 500 start, right? Pretty awesome. I actually played with him maybe like my rookie year on tour at, or one of my first few years on tour at the Barbasol one year. So he's obviously like a Utah legend. So it's cool to see him. And Weir's great. You know, spent a lot of time kind of, I don't know if you'd call it mentoring, but, you know, hanging around the BYU team from time to time when we were at school. And, you know, he's always been very generous with his time and, you know, trying to help kind of that next wave of people get better and, you know, very interested in kind of sharing anything that somebody asks, you know what I mean? And he's helped me and everybody that I know on the BYU team try and get better and get to that next level and be out here. And like you said, it's pretty cool to see. I've played a lot of golf with Zach Jones and the Jones family. Awesome to see him out here, and Kihei going to BYU, another BYU, you know, product hopefully that makes it out here, and pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, it's been great for me, especially growing up, you know, having Zach and Tony and Daniel, guys that I've, you know, looked up to that kind of paved the way for guys like me to get to the tour, you know, that you can make it to the PGA Tour coming from Utah. And so, I mean, I've looked to these guys my whole life, and they've always been so good to me, you know, willing to share information, you know, whatever I need. And so it's been great. And I think it's, you know, because guys like Zach and Tony and Daniel, they've created a wave of young players that are, you know, cropping up. And, of course, Jadon, I talked about Jadon and Mike Weir, you know, hanging around, and Mike Reed. And I've had a lot of guys that I can look up to and, you know, look and see how they do things. And I've learned a lot, you know, growing up, playing in Utah, being around all these good players. And it's a healthy crop of good talent that's coming. And, you know, it's really exciting to see. And, you know, I think they can, who knows, you know, you never know. They may compete this week and get in the hunt and win. You just never know. And so it's exciting to have, like you said, 9 players that are from the state playing in the, you know, first ever tournament here at Black Desert. It's a cool opportunity.
Well, gentlemen, we appreciate your time. Best of luck this week.
Thank you.
Thank you both.